Hey, it's your girl, Natasha Paris, the mental health therapist expert. And let me tell you, welcome to Empower You 2 podcast. And I am so excited. I know you've heard this before if you've been following me and downloading my podcast episodes, but this time, this is extremely special because we are at our 100th episode. Yes! Who said we couldn't do it? Who said that it would take forever? No, it did not. It required the 3 C's that I talk about: commitment. Yes, being committed to the task, being consistent even when I didn't feel like doing an episode. And last C, courageous. Oh my goodness. Feeling a little scared, feeling hesitant, but doing it anyway. So I am so excited to celebrate with you my 100th episode. And within the 100th episode of my Empower You 2 podcast, I have rounded up my top favorite, not just mine, but those who've been listening, favorite episodes. And I've put it into this compilation where you can hear those top 13, I would say top 13, right? 10 of my Empower You 2 podcasts and 3 of my empowerment affirmations. And I've put it all together so you can really get a gist of what season 1 was like, because we are super excited because season 2 is going to be, you thought season 1 was big, or season 2 is going to take it to the next level. And that actually starts in August. And so I'm super excited to share this episode 100 with you. And if this is your first time listening and you love this and it resonates with you, you know what to do. Share. Sharing is caring. And so with that said, let's go. So episode 1, our topic is how to find joy in the midst of difficulties. What I know all too well for myself, as well as for the clients and students I've really supported over the many years around the world, is that life can be very difficult. Life can have its challenges, it can have its ups, and it can have its downs. But the more important thing is that it's important for you to understand that it's going to come, but how do you maintain a level of joy? And I don't like the word happiness too much. And it's not that I don't like the word happiness. It's just that I believe that happiness is fleeting. Joy is actually everlasting if you know how to keep it. So the first thing is, why is joy important? Let's talk about it. Well, joy in itself is very important because if you do not find a level of consistency in joy, it will impact 3 major areas. The first is will impact your psychological ability to move in a purposeful and great way. What that is really, it just really takes on this whole idea of life is horrible, and so I am not going to be successful. I am not going to achieve my goals. I am not going to find love. And what you find yourself doing is constantly being negative towards yourself. That is not good. And what it does is it actually impacts your ability to move forward. And then that leads to the second reason why finding joy and maintaining joy is important, because guess what? It now then impacts your physical health. I'm going to talk about it. And when I say physically, we're talking about ulcers. We're talking about migraine headaches. We're talking about just pain in your body, that when you go to the doctors, they do all these tests, they run all these tests on you, and they cannot find anything that is systemic. Like they can't find the root of what's happening. And then it leads you to believe, am I just faking this? Is this real? But it all has to do with the stress that you're holding on to. It has to do with how you're feeling, right? How you're feeling in your head, and it's now impacting you physically. The third reason why maintaining joy is so important, because if you do not, it will impact your emotions. You will find yourself getting upset at the smallest of things. And so managing your emotions are so important. Then when we go to the root of what's happening, we realize that there's so many other things that are unresolved. Now the question is, how do you maintain your joy? I'm going to share with you that you should be doing that will help maintain a level of joy. The first thing is find something that you enjoy doing. If you find something that you enjoy doing, it will bring a level of de-stress, right? It's going to make you feel better. And you're going to start feeling a sense of happiness and joy. More so joy. I like the word joy, right? And so it can be anything. It can be swimming. It can be like me. I love to dance. And so dancing around the house to my favorite song helps me relieve and relief, right? Gives me a sense of relief of the anxiety. The second is do it often. Come on now. Let's do it often. Let's be joyful often. Let's laugh often. And unfortunately, the world brings us more negativity than positivity, right? So we have to look for those opportunities to be joyful often. You have to purposely and intentionally make it happen. The third is smiling. There's scientific facts that smiling makes a world of a difference. It really changes, in some ways, the chemistry of our brain. If you just start smiling, I'm not saying that you're pretending that everything is not happening. No. But what it does is it allows you to feel a sense of joy. Because when you smile, there's a feeling that happens, right? Find something to smile about, whether it is the bright sun outside and you're like feeling the warmth of the sun, and that makes you smile. Fourth thing is, this is a big one, and I'm going to stay there for a little moment, right? Forgive yourself often. Forgive yourself often. So often we are our biggest critic. We find ourselves ridiculing ourselves, criticizing ourselves, putting ourselves down. My goal is to empower everyone that I meet to live and be the best version of themselves. And so you cannot be the best version of yourself if you're constantly ridiculing yourself. Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 14. And so today, I want you to be in a place where you are feeling relaxed, you are feeling at peace. And my friends, it takes purpose and intentionality in order for that to be. It takes you being intentional in order to become peaceful as well as relaxed. And you know what I say in the Empowerment Affirmation series? I say it's so important to focus on your breath. Being able to find a place where there is peace. So find a place that's quiet, whether it is in a small room in your house, or it's a small pantry closet. I want you to find a place where you can just sit for about 8 to 10 minutes, catch your breath while reciting the empowerment affirmation phrase that I will give to you momentarily. I want you to focus on your breath, because that's going to be our center and focus point, where you take a deep breath in through your nose. You hold it for 3 seconds, and then you release. out of your mouth. I want you to continue to breathe as I introduce the empowerment affirmation phrase for episode 14. I am powerful. I want you to know that you are powerful. So let's say that together. I am powerful. I can create anything that I believe can exist. My thoughts, my words, my service to myself is powerful. My friends, I want you to continue to say that either out loud or to yourself. I am powerful. Episode 17 is rebuilding your life after heartbreak. Okay, so let's talk about it. What I know for sure is, particularly because I have been through it. Oh my goodness. Been through that heartbreak where you just couldn't see your hand before your face because it was so dark. And you were trying to figure it out. Well, I was trying to figure it out. And I don't know who else out there is trying to figure it out, but I came out, and I came out broken, but I was able to come back and become the best version of myself. I'm still working on it, my friends, but I am so much better now than I was before. Okay, so let's talk about it. What is heartbreak? Heartbreak is exactly the title. It is when your heart is broken and you are trying to mend the pieces. And it can come from someone, right, either cheating on you, or someone who, appeared to be one way and they was not, or they were very hostile or toxic, or, all things were great and then they ghosted you, right? And you're trying to figure out what happened. Everything was great, and I don't know what happened. And you're trying to mend the pieces and trying to get your mind together. So let's talk about, what are the ill effects of heartbreak? What are the ill effects that most individuals go through? And what I know is that when my heart was broken, I went into a depression. And I didn't even acknowledge it at that time. But now that I look back at it, I said, yes, I actually went through a depression stage. And let's talk about it, because there's so many negative effects, but I'm going to talk about 5 ill effects of heartbreak. The first is emotional distress. My goodness, heartbreak often leads to intense feelings. When you're trying to figure out what is happening, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm feeling an enormous amount of grief. Yes, grief and loss is not just about losing someone in death. It can also be equated to losing someone in life. The heartbreak can have various negative effects on your actual well-being, my friends. The second is physical symptoms. Let me tell you, let's just have a conversation. I could not sleep. It was difficult for me to go to sleep. And when I was asleep, I wasn't in my REM sleep. That's that real deep sleep where your body is actually repairing itself. I couldn't go there. And when I was asleep, I was having dreams. It was interrupted sleep. The third is, of course, it makes you feel levels of hopelessness. It makes you feel like all is lost and things cannot get better. I was feeling levels of hopelessness. Come on, my friends. In addition to that, Decrease self-esteem. Oh my gosh. The hopelessness that I was experiencing was equaling and falling into decreased self-esteem. The rejection left me questioning my own value and my desirability, whether I was a desired individual that someone else may look at and say, yes, she's my woman or she's my wife. In addition, it also causes us, number 5, it causes us to have difficulty trusting others again. Experiencing heartbreak for so many individuals like myself and for others that I've counseled causes you to become more guarded, and you find it challenging to trust others in future relationships. This can impact your ability to form and maintain healthy connections, my friends. So what I know is that it is a doozy that is placed on your spirit, on your mind, your emotions, your physicality when you have endured heartbreak, because again, it is a sense of loss because you either had this perception of this person to be something that they were not, right? Or you wanted the relationship to be something that it wasn't, right? Because what I was doing was I had this false narrative of the relationship when in fact, it was what it was in my face, but I didn't want to admit to it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I kept trying to make it fit into the mold of what I wanted in my head. How many of us have done that? And caused the heartbreak, because if I would have known better, if I would have made my decisions better, if I would have been honest with myself for what the reality was, maybe I wouldn't be heartbroken. But let me tell you, it has opened up so many doors. It has caused me to be on a platform where I can say, I am better. I can help others get to a place where they're looking at what they're doing. They're thinking about what they're thinking about, and they're being realistic with themselves about who that person is or what they want. Come on, ladies. I'm talking to my ladies right now. Yes, some men are listening, but have we gotten to that place where we try to create the relationship into something that we wanted it to be, and we found ourselves heartbroken? So no matter how you've gotten there, how your heart has been broken, I want you to know, my friend, that there is an out. There is a beautiful, beautiful life after heartbreak. And there are things that God has called you to do in order for you to become the best version of yourself. Let's jump into episode 26. And the title for episode 26 is one that individuals, many of us, my friends, have to deal with, right? And that is, my friends, fear does not own you. That's the title of our episode 26. Fear does not own you. Yes. How many of us have been in that place where we allowed fear to take over our lives, to really be the pilot or the driver in the seat of our lives, and allow it to really just take over? And so I want to come to you today to let you know that fear does not own you, my friends. Let's talk about it. What is the definition of fear? Right? What is the definition? Well, according to Webster's Dictionary and Google, fear is a natural emotional response to perceived threats or danger. Okay? It is an instinct that is designed to protect us. God makes us so amazingly wonderful, right? And fear is something that is designed to protect us from harm. When we feel fear, our body prepares for fight or flight. In other words, it prepares to actually fight off the harmful behavior or the threat that's coming towards you, or it prepares your body to run like no other. Okay? And so these are emotions and responses from our bodies. And it helps us to react quickly to either confront the threat or escape it. That is the Google definition of it. But how many of us, and I want you to really, really look at yourself, how many of us have decided to allow fear to be a constant emotion, to be our friend, to be our partner, to be our guide, And what I've come to realize is that oftentimes when I see individuals who are dealing with fear, levels of anxiety, levels of trauma, of course, I always say their origins to it. But when we really delve in deeper, there's some childhood experiences or situations that have happened in that person's life to cause them to become the person they are now. You know that song, I woke up like this, I woke up like this. Come on, Queen Bee, right? Yes, we did not wake up like this. We did not wake up riddled with fear. We did not wake up full of anxiety and frustration and panic attacks and sadness and depression. We did not wake up like that. So, my friends, how do we not make fear own us? Let's talk about it. What we know for sure is that there are strategies that can help you overcome and combat fear. The first is, I often say this, identify and understand where your fears are coming from. What are your fears, of course, first? Take time to identify the specific fear. What are you scared of? What are you scared of? You know, you have to ask yourself that, right? And then you have to try to understand what the root causes of that fear is. And then second, challenge those negative thoughts, my friends. Fear often involves negative thoughts. That's why the Bible talks about protecting your mind. Protect your mind at all costs, because that is where the battlefield happens. All of the battles happen in your mind. Third, my friends, educate yourself. Sometimes fear arises from a lack of understanding or knowledge. Educate yourself about the object or situation that causes you fear. Learning more about it can help really decrease and reduce the fear. And what do I mean by that? When I say educate yourself, those are all of the things that you should be able to do when you are trying to combat those irrational thoughts and that false evidence appearing real emotion, fear. Okay, so practice relaxation, meditation, prayer. It's spending time alone. Spending time alone, just breathing deeply, inhaling and exhaling. My friends, episode 34. So let's jump right into this topic. And the title of this topic is, how do you feel worthy when life throws you trash? Oh my goodness. How do you feel worthy when life throws you trash? Well, one thing's for sure is when life throws you trash, it can be very challenging to find your sense of worth. Okay, my friends, when we think about the word worthy, what we've come to understand is that there are so many people walking this planet who do not feel worthy. And oftentimes, when they think about their life and they think about the things that they've experienced, they feel like because of the things that they've gone through, such as molestation or abuse, or having an addicted parent, or both parents addicted, having had gone through special education, having to been bullied as a child, not receiving the recognition from others, and more than anything else, not feeling like you are worth being here. And so there are so many people walking on this planet that feels that sense that because life threw them not only a curveball, but they threw trash at them. Life threw trash at them, that they're not deserving of recognition, right? And so as a licensed clinician, I have seen so many people walk through my doors who dealt with depression, who dealt with anger, who dealt with grief and loss, who dealt with so many things. And at the bottom, under the surface, at the root of it all, my friends, it's because they did not feel worthy. They did not feel worthy enough to find or to be in an amazing relationship. They didn't feel worthy enough to demand and command a position or a salary increase. They did not feel worthy enough to go after the goals. My friends, is that worthiness is not determined by external circumstances. It's not determined by how you were raised. It's not determined by who your parents are. It is not determined by how much money you have. It is determined by several things that I will talk about, that I will give you tips on, that will help you find the worthiness that is already within you. And so, my friends, let's talk about it. I'm going to just talk about 5 points. What are some of the suggestions I can give you, or tips that will help you feel worthy even when life throws you trash, even when you're faced with difficult situations? The first thing is practice self-compassion. My goodness, too many of us are not giving ourselves grace. We beat up on ourselves much more than others would beat up on us, right? Treat yourself with kindness and understanding when you're going through tough times. And the first tip is that you have to practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that everyone faces challenges, and it's okay to have a difficult moment or an experience. Okay? The second tip is focus on the things that you do have control over, or the things that you do love about you, like your strengths. Recognize and celebrate who you are and the skills that you've come with. Because remember, even though you might think you're the most horrible or unattractive or untalented or non-talented person, come on now. So I want you to focus on that. Focus on that. The third point is I want you to surround yourself with people who are positive. So, my friends, it is important for you to surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who actually care about you, even if it's just one. Because surrounding yourself with supportive and positive people that will uplift your spirits and remind you of your worth, my friends. That is important. And like I've said on so many episodes before, is that it's important for you to seek out friends, family, or mentors who can offer encouragement and guidance during tough times, my friends, during tough times. Number 4, embrace a growth mindset. Embrace a growth mindset. What do I mean? Instead of seeing all of your setbacks as failures, or seeing them as, you're just not worth it, or you just can't do it, I want you to turn that around and see it as an opportunity for you to grow and learn. Because guess what? A setback is only a setup for a comeback. I am super excited to guide you through this affirmation series. Okay? So first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are in a safe and comfortable space. So what that looks like is you finding a space where you can really relax. Yes. Find a space where you can relax without distractions or any noise. So, my friends, the affirmation phrase for episode 36 is, I am beautiful. I am smart. I am kind. I'm going to say that again. I am beautiful. I am smart. And I am kind. That came to my spirit, and I wanted to share that with you. You are beautiful. Receive that by saying, I am beautiful. I am smart. And I am kind. As you are repeating that in your head, I want you to take a deep breath in. You are pulling in, right? All of those characteristics that are of excellence. I am beautiful. Take a deep breath in. Receive that. Hold it. And exhale the opposite of beautiful. Because when you exhale, you are communicating to the earth, to God, that you are releasing what is not you. And you are inhaling what is you. Okay? I am beautiful. I am smart. I am kind. My friends, I want you to know and really know that you are beautiful and that you are smart and you are kind. My friends, I want you to always understand that you have to speak life to you. You have to be deliberate and you have to be intentional every day to speak life into your soul, your spirit, as well as your mind, because it is a daily fight to feel beautiful, to feel smart, and to know that you are kind, because the world sometimes reminds us that we are not. So excited to be your host on this episode, and welcome to Empower You 2, episode 39, my friends, 39. Okay, so let's talk about what plagues many individuals, and that is negative thinking. Yes, my friends, negative thinking. You know, we're jumping right into this because guess what? Oftentimes we feel lost in our thoughts. And if you didn't know, I want to share some stats with you. Okay, it has been researched and said that every individual has close to about 70,000 thoughts a day. I'm going to say that again, 70,000 thoughts a day. Our thoughts are like a freeway. They're constantly going and going. But the thing is that what's really disheartening is that out of the 70,000 thoughts that we actually experience every day, 80% of those thoughts are negative. Come on now. 80% of our thoughts are negative. That's a problem. And of course, 20% is positive. And so let's talk about the 80%. The 80%, because we can decrease those numbers if we make a conscious effort to do so. And so with that said, the topic and title of episode 39 is How to Combat Negative Thoughts. Come on now. That's it. How to combat negative thoughts or negative thinking. And so one of the things that I lean on is, of course, my expertise as a licensed clinician. And oftentimes people come into my office with the chief complaint, and that is they are feeling levels of anxiety, they're feeling levels of depression, and I often begin to ask them, especially in the realm of anxiety and fear, is what are you thinking? What is it that you are thinking about? Are you fearful of a specific event happening? Or are you stuck in the past? And I'm going to tell you how. Because one thing's for sure is that the mind is an extreme battlefield. There are wars going on in our mind, but we have the power with God's strength to actually combat those negative thoughts and move in a direction where we're not harboring those thoughts and it's not coming out in our own health, right? Because negative thoughts truly can exacerbate any mental health issues or concerns that you had before, or it can actually start them up. Yes, it can start those symptoms up where you was fine before, but now all of a sudden you are feeling depressed, you're feeling levels of anxiety, and of course what we know, it can actually impact you physically. So let's talk about how can you deal or how can you combat negative thinking. So the first thing is the first strategy is to recognize and acknowledge your negative thoughts. Do not be in a place where you're pretending that it doesn't exist. You have to be in a place where you're acknowledging it. Okay? So the second strategy is my friends, I want you to challenge your negative thoughts. Question the validity and accuracy of your negative thoughts. In other words, I want you to look for evidence that supports or contradicts it. The third one is to practice self-compassion. I've said this throughout all of my episodes, right? That grace is sufficient for you, as the good book says. You have to practice self-compassion, which means not judging yourself for the thoughts that you have in your mind. In other words, it is so important for you to treat yourself with kindness. Number 4, it is so important to reframe your negative thinking. And of course, number 5 is I want you to seek support. Reach out to trusted friends, family, or professionals like myself, my friends, for support. Because when you share your thoughts out loud with someone you trust, believe me, it changes things, right? Because you can then see that now your thoughts might be a bit ridiculous. And also the person that's with you, who you're sharing thoughts with, would actually be able to say, this is what I perceive is happening, or this is what is happening, and I think that you need to change it. Okay, so it's important for you to surround yourself with people that love you, that care about you, and that want you to be successful in all areas, financial, spiritual, health, right? Absolutely. So, my friends, as we wrap up, I want you to remember managing your negative thinking takes time and practice. And I am super excited to come before you because I have a topic that I truly believe will resonate with you if you fall into this particular category. And so that category in episode 48 is, oh my goodness, let's talk about it. Women who are bosses, the impact of anxiety and burnout in their lives. Yes, We're talking about anxiety and depression that is prevalent in women who are bosses in business, bosses in their personal lives. They have it going on the outside. But oftentimes what we come to realize is behind closed doors, these women are on the brink of burnout. They're on the brink of mental illness because they have to have it together. And they are focused on the task. They are the superheroes to everyone else's rescue. They are bosses in their lives. They're executives. They fall into that C-suite, which are women or individuals who are VPs, who are CEOs, who are COOs, who are CFOs, who are managers, who are mothers, who are wives, who are girlfriends, who are the Louis Vuitton wearing girl with the nice bag and the shoes and makeup done up, face beat, right? But then when they go home and they close the door and they walk up to their room and no one is there, they cry themselves to sleep. They can't sleep. They can't focus because they often have it together, but they are burning out. And so, my friends, let's talk about it. You never know what someone is going through. Never know. And it's important for us to be what? Proactive in this, and be in a place of supporting as many individuals as possible. This is why I do this work. So let's talk about it. Anxiety and burnout are prevalent among female executives, with studies indicating that up to 70% of women in leadership positions experience anxiety symptoms, and 35% of them report feelings of burnout. These mental health challenges can manifest in various of ways. I talked to you about the female executive that came into my office, and I talked about some of the symptoms, the things that were happening as a result of the worry. Okay, persistent worry and fear. There's this fear that someone will find out that they're not who they say they are. There's a constant worry, which leads to difficulty concentrating and making decisions, feelings of being overwhelmed and exhausted. Like, if you're not sleeping, if you're worrying, you're going to also feel levels of exhaustion. That means that the body is now responding to what is going on in the mind, which in turn, we know this to be the case, it can actually turn into physical ailments, which looks like headaches, fatigue, just feeling exhausted, muscle tension. You know, it's like someone who says, my back hurts often, and then they go to the doctors and they say, my back is hurting and I don't know why, my shoulder is hurting, and there's no proven evidence, scientific evidence that can actually say it's coming from a disc, in your back, or unlined, or, I don't know the medical terminology, but and you get my point, right? There's no scientific proof that something is causing the pain. But what we do know, once they come into my office and we break it down, I say, well, that's why you're physically feeling those pains, because it's physiological. Yes, which means physical and psychological together, right? The brain is causing you to have physical ailments. So what we know, if those symptoms are left unchecked, anxiety and burnout are detrimental, and it can take you out. And so what we know for sure is that mental health challenges can increase as a result, right? This can really move you in a direction of severe mental health conditions, such as depression, And we're not talking about, oh, I just feel sad today. We're talking about depression that lasts for more than 3 to 6 months, and also anxiety disorders. So let's jump into this episode 54. My goodness, can you believe it? Episode 54. Super excited about this particular episode, like I am for every other episode that I have had on this Empower You 2 podcast. Okay, so today, our topic for today is how to push past the emotional pain and heal. Episode 54 is how to push past the emotional pain and heal. That's where we are, is how do we get to the place of healing when we are emotionally in pain? And when I talk about this as a licensed clinician, I want you to know that I am here to help you. I am here to give you some words that will support your growth, but also words that will get you to a place where you are climbing out of that 6 or 12 feet pit and be able to say, I am on a journey to heal. And my friends, I want you to know that dealing with emotional pain can be very challenging, to say the least. It can be very challenging because you would feel like you are in that pit. It is complete darkness. You can't see your hand in front of your face, and you say, how am I going to get out of this? And it's hard. But I want you to know that it's important to remember to be gentle with yourself and to give yourself time to heal, whether that is grief and loss of an actual person, a physical spirit, whether it is the loss of a relationship that has gone sour and now you guys are not talking, or you are on the verge of a divorce. Whatever that might look like, that is a tough place to be, my friends. It really is. And I want you to understand that healing is so vital. But oftentimes we believe that we must not go through the pain in order to heal, which sounds ludicrous, right? Because you have to be in pain in order to heal. And so that is what I want to talk about. I want to give you some tips, but I wanted you to know that you are not the only one. When you are doing this life, my friends, it will have its ups and it will also have its downs. It will have moments when you're happy and joyful, but then there'll be moments when things are not going well and you're sad and angry and even depressed. And so I want to give you 4 golden nuggets, something that you can do right now that will assist you with getting closer to the top of that pit and eventually climbing out. And I'm going to continue to use that metaphor of the pit. So first things first is that it is important for you to focus on the good things about yourself. Focus on the good things about yourself. The second is, I need you, my friends. I want you to, I endorse you. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. I'm going to say that again. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. Because if you can acknowledge and accept your feelings, what that does is it allows experience the emotions, whether it's sadness, anger, or pain, because when you can accept it and feel it, then the possibility of letting it go becomes greater. So very important. Remember, you have to feel your emotions. If you want to cry, it's okay to cry. If you want to be angry, it's okay to be angry. If you want to be frustrated. The third point is, it is so important for you to practice self-care. I say it all the time, and you'll notice in most of my podcast episodes, is that engaging in activities that bring you joy. And my last point is, I want you to, and I'm going to stay there for a moment, consider professional help. if the emotional pain feels overwhelming and interferes with your daily life, like your life as a mom, your life as a husband, right? Consider seeking therapy or counseling. If it is interfering with you working at your job or your business, or how you relate to your friends and your family and your children, you need to get help. It does not matter, whether you've had help before and you're just like, wait a minute, why didn't it work? Because let me tell you, every therapist is different. And where you are in your life right now is not where you were before. And so it's important for you to put down the ego and say, I am ready to get help. So let's get ready. Let's go. And let's really get you to a place where you begin to feel like you are unstoppable. You are truly unstoppable. And how we're going to do that, I'm going to give you some golden nuggets. Episode 60, we are going to talk about let go and let God. I'm going to say that again. Let go and let God. How to move out of worry and have faith. Ooh, how to move out of worry and have faith. So often we are in that place where we worry, right? Where does that worry come from? And I'm going to say this. I have been there. I have been there where I felt that things were going to be doomsday, right? Things are going to be doomsday, and that everything around me was going to begin to crumble. And how do we move out of that worry state and into having faith that can move mountains? So if this resonates with you, so let's jump right into it. Let's talk about it. What is the definition of worry? What is the definition of worry? Well, what I know for sure is that the definition of worry, in my own terms, not the Webster's Dictionary online, right, description. What is the definition? As a licensed clinician, I've worked with several individuals over the past 24, 25 years who come into my office and share how worrisome they are. And what is the definition? Is really having fear. That's what worry is. I know that word is so strong, and you may say, well, I don't have fear, but that's what you do. It's fear of the unknown, or fear of what you believe is about to happen. And worry is the symptom of fear. Let's talk about it. Because what I say is that there are two major feelings that really surround this world, that surrounds the universe. And those two feelings are fear and love. Fear and love. And out of fear comes lots of other emotions that we don't really like to address, but we have them. Out of fear comes anger. Out of fear comes anxiety. Out of fear comes worry. Out of fear comes jealousy and frustration. Out of fear comes violence. Yes. But when we talk about love, oh my goodness. Out of love comes unselfishness. Out of love comes empathy. Out of love comes sensitivity. Out of love comes understanding. Out of love becomes kindness, right? It begets kindness. And so when we talk about worry, worry is a fear. It is a fear that something horrible is going to happen, or that something is not going to happen. And it becomes a persistent thought, right? A persistent thought that is happening over and over in your head till it becomes a reality. And so my goal for you in episode 60, yes, ever to give you some tools in which to work from, where you can say, I am no longer going to be in that place of worry. So I'm going to give you five tips, because I want you to be in a place where you're writing this down and you're actually utilizing all of that in order for you to move into your greatest purpose. Okay, my friends, the first tip is prayer. Spend time in prayer, talking to God about your worries and asking for his guidance and peace. The second tip is it is important for you to utilize scriptures, right? And when I talk about utilizing scriptures, what I know for sure is that in the Bible, there are close to 100 Bible verses that talk about the effects of worry. For example, it talks about it that casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you in 1 Peter 5:7. And then in Philippians 4:6-7, it says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication. Right? And the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. The third is seek support in a community of people who believe what you believe and who can also help you deepen your understanding, right? And when you make a decision to let God, let go and surrender your worries and trust his plan for your life. Number 5, and my last point, and you know what I say. I've been saying it for a very long time. I even dedicate once a week to a mindful meditation episode, which has been helping a lot of people. And also not just that, we are affirming what God says about you. And I ask that people say it, right? Say it, they're breathing deeply, inhaling and exhaling. And so what am I saying? My 5th point is mindfulness. Practice mindfulness. Practice focusing on the present moment, my friends. Because too often we're in the past or we're in the future, but we're never in the present. And it's so important for you to be in the present moment, just trusting God, allowing him to care for you and love on you. I want you to now journey with me into episode 84, where we affirm what is true. I have a wealthy mindset. Oftentimes, my friends, we carry thoughts that do not work towards giving us what we need. We often believe things that are not true, things that have been passed down to us, especially as it relates to money. We believe that we don't and will not ever have enough money. We believe that struggling is Christian or religious. We believe or been taught to believe that money is the root to all evil. But I come to tell you, my friends, that money is not the root to all evil. It is just a tool utilized to get what God has called you to receive and also share. And so in order to have wealth, you have to begin changing your mind. And so today, episode 84, I want you to affirm that you have a wealthy mindset. And it's not only for finances, but it is for your desires and your dreams. That you have a wealthy mindset, a mindset that is of abundance, that is not insufficient, right? That is not lacking, but is abundant. So journey with me. I have a wealthy mindset. I have a healthy mindset. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale. I have a healthy mindset. I have a mindset that is of abundance. I have a wealthy mindset. My mind is filled with wealth. My mind is filled with desires and dreams. I don't settle for less than what I deserve. I understand that I am deserving of all great things. I have a wealthy mindset. I have an abundant mindset. I believe that all that is out there for me will find me without worry, without stress, because I have a wealthy mindset. I want you to repeat these affirmations for today as long as you can, because the objective, my friends, are to receive what is yours, to affirm who you are, and recognize whose you are. So stay in this space for as long as you need, because you have a wealthy mindset. Yes, episode 89. And the topic of discussion today is stop trying to make it work. God has something better. Ooh, wait, come on now. Stop trying to make it work. God has something better. What does that mean, family? What does that mean? That truly means that you need to stop trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. That is not a good look. We're talking about those individuals who are in relationships with individuals who are not good for them, but yet they try and they try and they try. The person, the significant other, said outright, without hesitation, "You're not for me. I'm moving on." But no, you want to be the person that says, we got to work it out. Let's go to counseling. Listen, my friends, I am not saying that you don't work out the kinks in your relationship. I'm not saying that one bit. But what I am saying is that if you continue, the other person is just present, but not really present and not trying, because remember, it takes two to make things work. So my friends, I want you to know that it's important for you to evaluate your relationships and do the work. If it is a relationship that has more rewards than things that are not rewarding, right? So we're going to talk about that. And not only this is about relationships, but it's also about jobs. Working for someone and they don't appreciate you. They don't give you your flowers while you are currently employed with them. So yes, let's talk about it. Stop trying to make it work. God has something better. Welcome to episode 89. So my friends, it's important to prioritize your well-being at all times. So let's talk about it. Okay, my friends, one thing's for sure is that we all deserve a strong level of joy and happiness. We know that joy comes from the source. It comes from God first. Of course, we know that. But if you didn't know, now you know. That is your true, stable, and consistent joy. However, when we are living this life, it is important for us to be in a place where we are intentional about who we surround ourselves with. We are intentional intentional about who we allow to be in our circle and what we will allow to happen to us. So what are the keys? Because my goal every time I speak to you is to really get you to the place where you're using actionable steps to help you move out of any type of relationship that does not serve you. The first thing is, my friends, I want you to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship. Whether it's a friend, whether it's an intimate partner, whether it's a job, whether it's a family, whether it's a neighbor. Acknowledge and understand the behaviors and patterns in a relationship that is harmful. And so my second point is, I want you to prioritize your safety. If you feel unsafe or in danger, seek help immediately. This can involve reaching out to a friend or family member, a domestic violence hotline, or a local authority. The third point is build a support system. Surround yourself with supportive and understanding people who can help you through the transition of moving out of an unhealthy relationship. It is important for you to be around individuals that love and care for you. It is so important for you to get to the place where you prioritize your own well-being. And this podcast is not about being selfish, but it is about being selfish. Oh, girl, did you just say that? I did. It's about you being selfish. Why? Because if you're not selfish with who you are, then how can you give and be loving and unselfish to others? You have nothing else to give. Hear me when I say this. I want you to be in a place where you are doing the greatest of things for you, because then those who love you will begin to see it and will love you even more, because now you are the example of what love is for self. Okay, my friends. Oh my goodness. I hope that this episode 100 resonated with you, that you were able to take bits and pieces of each episode that was featured and say, wow, this was good. This was actually better than good. This was extraordinary. And I ate today and I feel full and I'm digesting it spiritually, emotionally, physically, yes, physically, and mentally. And so with that said, I am so thankful for your presence and for you tapping in and listening to episode 100 and the many other episodes that you may have listened to. But if it is your first time, go back and listen to the other episodes prior. If you've downloaded episode 1 or episode 15 or episode 37 or episode 86, I am grateful, because what I know for sure is that you have been able to tap into some things that you probably never heard of, or maybe you had and really didn't do anything about it. And so my goal in season 1 was to introduce you to who I am and also get you to a place where you are beginning to journey on that road to renewal, to empowerment, to your greatest self. And so as you journey during episode 100, leading into season 2, woo, I'm so excited about that. Season 2, I'm telling you, it's going to be another level. It's going to take you to the next level of your development, of your spirituality, of your emotional, mental health. Because what I know all too well is that if you continue to be consistent, if you continue to have commitment, and if you continue to have the courage to seek more and to do more for you, you will ultimately do more for everyone around you. So with that said, Let's go. Celebrating episode 100, closing out season 1 and moving into season 2 in August of 2024. So stay tuned for updates on the release and the start of season 2. Super excited. So with that said, I want you to enjoy your summer, and I will be back, your host, Natasha Paris, with more information, more tangible and actionable steps, and also we will have special guests that will stop by and share their wisdom and knowledge for your betterment. So with that said, you know how I end always. I want you to be what? Empowered for greatness, because without greatness, there is no you, and without you, there's no greatness. And again, I want you to remember to share, hit that 5-star button, and also give me some feedback. I want to know how this has resonated with you, not just with episode 100, but with any of the episodes, because I value your opinion and your feedback. So my friends, see you soon. See you next season. Bye.